outputs. We actually use 22 of those. There's actually 20 mixes, so everything's different, totally different. The band want to hear certain things. If they can't hear a certain thing on the side of the stage, they'll want to listen to that. We actually go around and make sure everything's working properly, so it's all blending hopefully together. Then I get the guys to actually make some noise.
We can't bring a lot of our cases, trunks and things, so all the guitars, keyboards have to travel separately. I had to clear out about a third of my work box to make space for other people and to get the weight down. I think the best way to talk about things with Steve is there's very little to say, which is how he prefers it. And I've been with him a long time. I pretty much anticipate what he might be wanting.
He knows more about my gear than I do, and I'm lost without him. He also plays keyboards, as most people know.
I don't actually consider myself to be a keyboard player as such, but I can do the stuff that Maiden requires, and some of it's not simple.
Here's the Annex rig. We've got all sorts of things in there. You've got wireless. He uses wireless on a couple of songs like Iron Maiden, when he likes to swing the guitar around his head. This is a Pete Cornish unit. It's got pedals built into it, and I control the pedals from here.
Justin Garrick, the man who looks after all my gear, does a fantastic job. He presses all the buttons for me, gets all the things together, and he fixes the guitars, fixes the amps, and there's a lot of fixing to be done.
So on tour we have to bring spares for everything. I mean, even on this tour I've changed a pickup on this tour. Volume pots, things like this go when, you know, you spin them around, throw them, sweat gets in them. So all these things get changed out, so we have spares. It's not a daily thing, but it's things that may happen once on a tour.
And he's a very competent guy. And not only that, he's worked with Ronnie Wood, he's worked with Razor Light. He's a tremendous asset to Iron Maiden, and I'm really thankful that we found him.
Welcome to my world. My name is Sean Brady, and I'm Adrian Smith's butler.
I rely on Sean a lot because my setup is not very high tech. So, you know, if I'm taking a solo, for example, Sean usually punches my effects in. It's also a question of, you know, the less wiring you have on stage, the better the sound.
It's a 100-watt amplifier, of course, not a 50, and not even 101, because we don't go to 11 here. As you can see, we only go to 10. We've looked into 11, but it has been patented by a certain other English rock act.
Yeah, Sean puts up with my moods now and again, you know, when things aren't going well, and calms me down a bit, and we have a good rapport, you know.
Usually I have masses of gear. You never know what you're going to need, but you know, we work it out down to pretty much the nearest amount of strings we're going to need.
Colin, my guitar tech, has been absolutely tremendous. We've been with me now for a few years, and we have a great working relationship. He kind of knows what the sound I'm looking for.
Everybody keeps coming along and making notes of all these dials to get that perfect Davy tone, and I just keep doing that because none of them work.
We're up there to do a job and to play, but then at the same time, though, we have a laugh.
The difference is I have 6 flight cases when we do a normal tour with trucks in Europe and America. On this, I've got, I think, up to 26 pieces.
Charlie's been with me now for, I can't remember, 8 years, something like that, maybe 9. He's fantastic drum tech. He's the only drum tech I've ever had that I allowed to tune my drums for me. I showed him how I tuned them, and tone-wise, difference between each drum.
The tuning's got to be bang on, and when you've got 9 toms, you know what I mean, it's just quite difficult. And the cymbals, just the angles of everything, he notices everything. He'll sit there sometimes, just close his eyes and just do this with a stick, and he'll straight away, you know, you're talking a couple of millimetres.
But it really is very essential, because it's like a precision instrument, my drum kit. If one part of it's out, the whole thing's completely... I'll sit there, and if one thing is out on this side of the drum, by the time you get up here, it's way out of position. But Charlie is very good.
Fucking great audience, phenomenal. This is for the people in Japan tonight.
When I stand and look about the port and contemplate my life.
We're in Monterrey, Mexico. It's really early o'clock in the morning. We're basically out of bed at 4 o'clock, 3:30. After a great show last night, by the time we loaded and got to bed, it was 1 o'clock in the morning. So you do the math, it's about 3 hours sleep for some. We're lucky.
You know, it's tough because you're doing lots of flights. The crew sleep less than probably we do, but, you know, they just try and cram in a bit of sleep here and there. You find guys lying across flight cases and things like that, just trying to grab a couple of hours sleep here and there. It's just quite tough on them.
Right, so here I am just collecting the washing that I don't want to put in the dryer, just stuff that's air-dried. That's still a bit wet. Oh, and of course my washing, obviously. I just basically look after the band, as in stage clothes wise, but if they ever need anything, I'm usually the to run and fetch things if they need it. And I describe this job as balancing 6 plates. This is my wardrobe room today. It's a bit dark and a bit messy. I would go in the day before to allocate the rooms, talk to the necessary people about what furniture goes in which room, talk to the caterers who are doing the riders for the band lounge to give them a head start as well, so that when I do come in the morning, everything's ready. Usually I'll have the worry of how I'm going to get the washing done as well, so I don't want to waste time. So this is the lounge area. They've done a pretty good job today. It's always different every show. Sometimes I have to hound them, but today I didn't have to, just went through the rider with them. They were pretty clear on everything. These are the drum heads, so I have a stash and put out 3 every show for Nico to sign so that he can throw them out at the end of the show.
So we arrived here yesterday, arrived late last night from Lima, Peru on Air Force One. Came in early this morning, got gear coming from all over. We've got the Big Eddies coming on the sea container from the UK. We had towers that we flew air freight over from Australia. We have the boat that's back out, and we have some other bits and pieces. So it's a full production Maiden show, hence the extra day. We also have our moving motors, which is, we have parts of the lighting rig move, sort of give it that spaceship effect. You know, we don't have the luxury of using that everywhere we go, basically because the technology that you need to use it, it's not available everywhere, you just can't get it, and it's quite costly to fly it around, but we do have it for these big shows.
We've been going through this tour with basic set and 6 drapes, but there's 4 shows here, Sao Paulo, Rio, Chile and Argentina, which will put a full show in, which includes 2 other drapes. We've got the Devil Goat and, of course, the Big Eddie at the back.
Big Eddie is in those 2 carts.
Big Eddie is a one-off, bespoke, great big fiberglass and metal structure that comes together in the 2 biggest boxes you've ever seen in your life.
Big Eddie was something that really kind of came from a similar idea that we had when we did Fear of the Dark.
Go away, I'm leg to hill.
Pre-production, I saw it from back by the sound desk, and I think it looks probably better there than it does close up, because I'm looking at it from close up.
Doesn't it? It looks great when it goes down at the end.
I think the effect from out front, especially further back, I think it looks huge. It's a weird effect because you think it would look bigger when you're closer up, but when you're further back you get the whole vibe of it, and it just makes the stage look really 3D, and I think it works really well.